Good morning, wonderful, amazing, fantastic algebra students. This is Ms. Youngblood here with today's review topic for Thursday, March 26th, which is creating dot and stem and leaf plots. So we're going to start by doing two of the examples on the handout that is posted on Google Classroom. The first four examples ask you to create dot plots given the data sets. So we're going to look at problem 4. We're given a table of data representing sales tax in different states. So as you can see, for example, Arkansas has a 7% sales tax, Florida has a 6%, and the rest of the data you can see. To create a dot plot given a data set, you're going to plot dots above each data value based on the amount of times it occurs. So for example, in this data set, there is 1, 4. So that means that I would place 1 dot above the number 4. For your scale for the data set for dot plots, you always want your scale to be equal. So as you can see, we're going up by 1s. We have this tick representing a 4, the next one representing a 5, and the next one representing a 6. You will frequently see on dot plots where the scale will skip the in-between lines, and they'll probably only go up by even numbers, but again, it's only going up by one number for each tick mark. So as we said, there was 1, 4 in the data set. These 5 dots above 6 mean that there were 5 6s in the data set. There's 1 6, 2 6, 3, 4, 5. So there were 5 6s in the data set. There were 4 7s in the data set. 1, 2, 3, 4. And lastly, there was 1 8 in the data set. Again, because there were no 5s, there are no dots above 5. That concludes how you would make a dot plot. Again, the other problems are very similar. Just take the values that are given to you and organize them in a dot plot. The next example we're going to look at is number 6. So for numbers 5 and 6, we are asked to create a stem and leaf plot of the data set. Number 5 is a little more straightforward. You just take these numbers and use this key, meaning the stem is going to be the tens place and the 5 will be the ones place. Again, so you would just use these values to create a stem and leaf plot. However, in the example I chose to do, you must round in order to correctly place them in the stem and leaf plot. So again, based on the given key, the stem is the tens place and the leaf is the ones place. So for example, if we had the value 68, to put that in the stem and leaf plot, you would have a 6 in the stems column and an 8 in the leaf column. So again, because these values have decimals, we have to round these decimals. The first decimal we see, I believe this is 78.5, and that's going to round to 79. Reminder, when you're rounding, whatever place you're rounding to, you look at the value after that, and if it's 5 or greater, you're going to round up. So we're asked to round to the ones place so we can include it in our stem and leaf plot. So we want to round this 8.5 to a 9, so it's going to be 79. The other value we have to round is the life expectancy for Diana here. So again, that given value was 70.5 years. We want to round that 0.5 to the nearest ones place, so that's going to round to 71. And the last one that we have to round is the life expectancy for Bulgaria. So we see that value is 74.5 years, but again, we want to round that to the nearest ones place because this value is 0.5. We're going to round that up to 75. After you round your values, if necessary, you want to place them in the stem and leaf plot. So you do want to organize these from least to greatest. The smallest value we see is 54 for Zimbabwe. So our stem is 5 and our ones place is 4. There are no other values in our data set that have a stem of 5, so we're done with this row. Our next smallest value is going to be 63. I believe that's here for Sudan. Yeah. So for Sudan, the life expectancy is 63 years. So we have a 6 in our stem column and a 3 in our leaf column. Then we would do 68, 68, and 69. The next column, the next row we have are the 70s. So we have a 7 in our stem column Then we have the 71, the 75, and the 79. And the last row we have is 83. And again, that's here. So the 83 came from here. 83 years for the life expectancy in Australia. Australia is where it's at. Lived to be 83 years. It's crazy. Okay, so that concludes the explanation of some of the problems that are on the assignment that's posted on Google Classroom. And I want to look at the Khan Academy problem sets that I assigned to you guys. So the first one I assigned was creating frequency tables, which are very similar to dot plots. So for my first problem in the set, it says the data below shows how old each of Brad's 8 kids were when they started kindergarten. And we're using this data to create a frequency table. Brad had 8 kids, okay. So again, a frequency table is just telling us, kind of like a dot plot, how many times each of the values occur. So if we look for the age 3, how many times do we see it? We see the age 3 one time. So that means the number of kids is going to be 3. Or 1, excuse me. We see that value one time. Number of kids is 1. Next column, or row, asks for 4. How many times do we see 4? We see 4 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So the frequency of the value 4 is 5. And the last one, 5, we see 2 5s. So that's how you would complete that frequency table. So again, there's 1 3, there are 5 4s, 1 2 3 4 5, and there are 2 5s, 1 2. The next question in the set is very similar. They just don't give it to you in an actual table. So I'll go ahead and do that and show you my final answer. So in this problem, we are told the following data points represent the number of parking spots at each of the houses on Lombardy Avenue. And we are just asked to create a frequency table to determine the amount of times each data value is represented. So 0 is seen 1 time, 1 is seen 1 time, 2 is seen 3 times, 1 2 3, 3 is seen 1 time, and 4 is seen 1 time. So that's how we got that frequency table. The other values in the set, other problems in the set were very similar to the 2 that I just showed you. So again, if you need more help with your specific problems, you can comment down below or reach out to me in all the ways that I describe in every video. So now I'm looking at the problem set for creating dot plots. For the first problem that was given to me, it says the frequency table below shows how many hours Kim worked each weekend since she started her job. I'm using this data to create a dot plot where each dot represents a weekend. So this one actually gives you a frequency table, and you have to create a dot plot from it. So let's look at what this frequency table means. So this column is the number of hours. So it says if she worked 8 hours, this column is the number of weekends. So this first row would say she worked 8 hours for 1 weekend. Second row would say she worked 9 hours for 3 weekends, 10 hours for 2 weekends, 11 hours for 1 weekend. So this tells us the frequency of the amount of hours she wrote. So this would be our frequency. These are our actual data values. So to create your dot plot, it says that there was 1 weekend where she worked 8 hours. So we're going to place 1 dot above the 8. It says that there were 3 weekends. 3 weekends where she worked 9 hours. So we're going to place 3 dots above the 9. Oh no. It said that there were 2 weekends where she worked 10 hours, so we're going to place 2 dots above the 10. And then it said that there was 1 weekend where she worked 11 hours, so we're going to place 1 dot above the 11. So this is what the final dot plot looked like. In the next problem, similar scenario or similar information, but they just don't give it to you in a frequency table. So now you actually have to look yourself and see how many times the different values appear. In this scenario, it says the following data points represent how many goals Hank scored each lacrosse season. So we want to see how many times does 43 show up. Well, we see 143, so we'll place one dot above 43. We see 1, 2, 3 44s, so we'll place 3 dots above 44. We see 1, 2 45s, so we'll place 2 dots above 45. We don't see any 46s, so no dots above 46. And we see 147, so we'll place 1 dot above 47. I'm quickly going to check my answers, and I do that by counting the total amount of values. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 values, and we should have a total of 7 dots. So here I see 1, 2, 3, 4, including that, plus another 4, which is 8, because I actually put an additional dot here on accident. So it's always helpful to go back and check your work, because sometimes you might make a little mistake like I just did. So there should be 3 44s. That concludes the review portion of our video, and now I want to go over the daily meditation with you guys. Again, if you guys have any questions on your specific problems on Khan Academy or the assignment that was posted on Google Classroom, reach out to me by commenting on this video, comment on Google Classroom, send me an email, or send me a text message. Again, reach out if you need the help or if you need support in any way. But again, let's end with the daily reflection or meditation. The daily meditation question was, what makes a good politician? Political leaders have been meeting extensively during this time to discuss how best to handle the crisis that is facing our world. These meetings have brought to light what leaders truly have our best interests at heart. I recently learned about a man named Omari Hardy, a public official in Florida, who is standing up for his community by voicing their concerns about their utilities being shut off in the midst of the massive layoffs that have been occurring. This story made me reflect on the importance of electing people to office who have the same mentality as Mr. Hardy, people who are truly passionate about helping their community and making sure their voices are heard. Although politics and social sciences never held my attention during school, as an adult, I've begun to recognize their importance, and I hope that some other young minds are inspired to enter this field and be real representatives for their community. My song of the day for today was All Night Long by Beyonce. So again, if you would like to share your thoughts on the daily meditation, your song of the day, or, just put any comments about what I said or my song of the day, feel free to do that on this video, Google Classroom, or message me privately through email or text. I thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I will see you guys soon.